Thank you, Susan, and thank you, GUILDit, for having me here today. Is that cutting out? Does that sound okay? Okay. All right. Yes. Nichole Raab, dancer, aerialist, U.S. Coast Guard licensed captain, and one of the founding members of Volet Thieves of Flight. Now, we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary here as a company. Rachel, the seat of the group here, started the company in 2007. She wanted to learn aerial arts. She flew in an instructor, created a workshop. 36 attended. Of that 36, 6 remained of the founding core members. Now here's a photo of 3 of us remaining members. Myself, Jade Bellaquest, and Rachel at a performance we did in Providence, Rhode Island. I booked for us a year ago. Clicker. Now today I will speak of my path as an individual. Any one of us has an amazing story to share, so it's an honor to be here today and share mine. And I'll be able to share that story as a relationship to the groups across national, international, and local markets as pertaining to aerial performance and aerial education, and how that's actually opened a door to a new career path while also creating new opportunities for our group. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? I am not a short lady. This has actually been quite a hurdle in some of my career and my path. So I started as a dancer. I went to UMKC, got my degree in biology. The professors there encouraged me to pursue dance professionally. Around the same time, I also read an article that said dance was one of the top 10 worst careers to get into, so I said, let's do it. Then combine that statistic with my height equals a lot of rejection. Now, rejected 9 times out of 10 simply because I was too tall, oftentimes in New York or Chicago, but still asked to stay in the room because they wanted to watch me dance. Now, I was accepted in Volet as I am, and here I flourished as an aerial artist, and really progressed as an individual through the relationships and bonds developed while co-creating within a group where we all had equal say. A very important and distinctive attribute of the company, Volet, another being trust. Now the group knew I always had an itch to scratch and I wanted to travel and work on large productions. During a family vacation, I fell in love with Tall Ship Providence. I wrote that captain, asked if I could create and produce an aerial stunt show hanging from the mast of the ship and to learn to be a sailor. Now he said, bring it on. I moved out in the summer of 2012 where we sailed up to Nova Scotia each summer, sailing down to Bermuda, down to the Caribbean for the winter, and then right back up to New England for the summers. Now I gained all my sea time, signed off by all my captains, took and passed my Coast Guard exam, and here I am back in Kansas City, and 3 days of the week I'm in Branson, Missouri, captaining those 2 vessels there, and then back in Kansas City with our aerial group. Now let me introduce to you Tall Ship Providence, my life and love since 2012. Here I lived aboard creating specialty cruises along with my aerial stunt shows. In January 2015, Blizzard Juno damaged the ship severely, upon which I was in pursuit of gaining funding so I could purchase the vessel, repair her, and create my adventure business on her. Now I do have an update of my pursuits and the ship's status. She has been purchased by a new nonprofit in Virginia, so I am very much in a transition period trying to figure out how I fit into perhaps this new nonprofit with the ship itself. Now within this transition, it's opening creation process for new interests. I am very much interested in pursuing development of maritime activities and maritime culture here in Kansas City. I would love to bring back a large vessel on the Kansas City in the Missouri River. So if anyone knows anyone else with like mind and like interest, I'm in the very beginning stages of seeing what kind of opportunities we can develop. Now, as much as I love Kansas City, I also love the Caribbean. This winter, I do plan to go back and help out with some hurricane relief, and I'd like to do this by creating cruises and tourism, as they very much need the tourist dollar. So if anyone's interested in a week-long company or private retreat, as me as your captain, I'll take you around these wonderful islands here who need your tourist dollar. Now getting back to our aerial work, in between the balance of doing maritime work and the aerial work, there is a process for continuing to create aerial work. Now oftentimes we have to find the venue or an event and then we create the content. Sometimes it happens in reverse. Once we have that, we train, rehearse, we build our costumes, edit our music. Obviously, diet is very important. Now, there are costs involved in all of these. Marketing costs, insurance, rigging is quite expensive. Travel expenses are often built into costs. Now for marketing, Rachel here is fantastic at social media. She has a great social media following and a great artist network. She's also very good at creating Groupon specials to bring audience and students into the venue, the church that she purchased a few years ago. Now, I prefer rejection face-to-face, so door-to-door marketing is my favorite way to do marketing. And guerrilla marketing, hanging from masts of tall ships, cranes, palm trees, anything, and that I've found has created a stir of buzz and word of mouth, and that is how Richard Branson found me in 2013. I've been performing for him and his family and his VIP guests since 2013. There I am in his beach house on Mosquito Island. Now I do perform from his yacht as well as both of his islands, so anyone who wants to book a charter with me, we will sell by and say hi to him. Now, pricing varies for our performances. We sometimes donate, often do trades, as well as we have small business pricing and corporate pricing. You may notice there are a lot of aerial companies popping up around Kansas City. Many have spawned from our company. And the difference is here, we are from the Premier Aerial Group, and we do have a lot of content and a lot of repertoire. We are great with last-minute requests, and we also can suit near any theme any client may have. We also give near 100% of the money earned to the performers themselves, as we have a very low overhead and not a lot of office or anyone else outside of the performers to pay. Now, challenges, same for aerialists as well as many entrepreneurs. Burnout can be a challenge. Reinvention stage or transition stages are also challenges. Injury and healing, especially for movement artists. How do you make money while also healing your physical tool? Individually, not having a live workspace currently, as I just moved back to Kansas City, is definitely a bit of a hindrance and a challenge. And for our group challenges, is the market saturated? We definitely need more performance bookings. And sometimes time and space within our current studio space can be limited, as it's also Rachel's live workspace, so she does have to sleep. Now this does create a shared goal. If I do acquire a live workspace, then it does create more opportunity to expand our company as a whole. So we're exploring that path as well. There's Rachel's church she purchased, what year? 2012, right when I moved to the ships. Lots of things happening all at the same time. Now, what do we need? Immediate needs could be bookings. Holidays are right around the corner, so if you have a holiday company party, definitely check us out. We don't do just aerial, so if you have a small space and you just need floor ambient work, we've got lots of that. Anyone that wants to do a sailing charter, please contact me. We do have postcards in the back, same as menus with all the options that we do within our aerial company. So we have all kinds of social media you can follow us on. And I thank you very much for having me here today. And we're going to bring Rachel up for the Q&A. Aha.
Just to assist in case she doesn't know the answers to things.
Yes.
Okay. Who would like to open up our questioning? And if you want to flip back to one of you. Well, first of all, before we open up, I ran into someone who's booked aerial before for their corporate conference, and they said it's great because you don't need a stage, and everybody can see the performance, no matter where they are in the room. So, all right, questions? Right here. Okay, why don't you flip back to your challenges or your goals?
Goals. Challenges.
Challenges.
So what about ideas in regards to doing maritime performances here in Kansas City? Have any of you experienced that before? Or, you know, been on, I know there's been trains with and performances on boats as well with dinner theaters and such.
Mhm.
And two, have you explored that yet here in Kansas City as far as talk with any boating clubs or travel agents?
I've just started to pull together resources of friends. We have quite a few friends who do a lot of river adventuring and river activities and know some past professional tugboatmen. So I'm starting to get a little more layout of the land. And there used to be a paddle boat here in Kansas City. We don't have the picture of her on this one, but so it would be great to bring that back, see what option, and tie in with a lot more of the tourism that's starting to pick up here in Kansas City. We've got the new tram that goes straight downtown, so where it could go down there and develop and create more work and entertainment for all types of entertainers.
Okay.
I do have a question. And for most solo business owners, the expensive travel is a very difficult one. And you do a great deal of traveling. Is that usually covered out of your own budget, or is that something that your clients are able to provide for you?
Hi, Hector. It's I usually budget it into the lump sum of what I'll quote them for the price of the event. Now, a lot of times it does discount the art itself. So, because a lot of times over the years I have chosen to do that, to put myself in certain opportunities, to be around certain individuals that I really admire or be in certain environments, and so I take that risk a bit budgeting. So I've definitely lost money certain ways doing that, but I definitely have gained many experiences and many skills to help put me on the path I'm on today. But it is definitely always a budgeting factor.
And I can talk a little to that.
Yeah.
So there are 3 core members of us with BowLife still, and we are all traveling internationally at least 3 times a year, sometimes together, sometimes separately. But the way I do this for myself in my travels, so I do a lot of teaching as well. I'm a performer as well as an instructor. So a lot of the times when I'm traveling, I'm not picking a place on the planet that I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna go here. People are approaching me and saying, hey, would you come here and teach this class, or we have this performance opportunity. And for me, I've been able to make it work because it becomes an all-inclusive event. Like if I get to, like I say, I've been to Bulgaria twice now. If I can get my airfare to Bulgaria, once I land, everything is paid for. Same thing happened in Nepal. I had to get my airfare to Nepal, but once I land in Nepal, everything is taken care of for the 2 weeks I'm there. So it's just a negotiation phase. I'm looking at the strategies now to start to erase that expense out of pocket for myself to get my airfare paid for as well, and that's just about marketing and how to negotiate and saying, oh, well, I would like this much money on top of all of the, things that I'm going to be supported for these next few weeks in Costa Rica,
I have a question over here.
Hi, the mention of your expedition to the Caribbean this winter and hurricane relief work caught my ear. And one reason is because my daughter's going to have a destination wedding in San Juan on December 30th. So I was wondering if you've she's done some checking on the conditions down there with her wedding planner, but I was wondering if you've heard anything about San Juan and if you're going to be there, any on your cruise and things like that.
But it's definitely a possibility. I have a family that's a client of mine there, and they have their vessel. They live in just outside of Old San Juan, so they're in San Juan proper. So they're still living in their property and do have some power back. So an option could be to charter vessels. There is a port right there in Old San Juan, so if on land you don't feel like it's comfortable, you could have a boat option as well. I don't have a lot more updates other than that, but I do know that people are making their way and getting by. So congratulations for her.
Another thing thank you. So if, like, we wanted to take a day trip, we're going to be down there for a week or so, like family, if we wanted to do that, is that something that I could contact you on and you might be able to work out, or?
Yeah, definitely. For day trips, for day vessels, I don't have I don't know of an exact company yet, so I'd have to contact my individual down there. He owns his own boat. He keeps it around over on the East Coast in Fajardo. But it is something where he would know more people through word of mouth than just living there. So definitely could help you out there too.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Great. Question over here.
Thanks. Okay, I have a technical question. What about height restrictions and where you can do your work? When you talk about corporate events, I'm super curious about that. Okay.
Yeah. Myself being a tall individual, the shortest ceiling space I've ever performed in was 10 feet tall. So this, let's see, this is about 12 feet. So we could definitely make something happen in here. It's usually a metal apparatus, a lyra, or a diamond, something like that. So we can make it happen in small spaces. We also do acro yoga, so you can create a small platform as well. So it's body balancing ideally. And we do a lot of ambient work, so character work, people in costumes interacting with your clientele as well.
Okay, then my second question is, you talk about corporate, you teach. Have you ever gone to a corporate event where it's about team building and utilizing what it is you do to help corporations build a better team? I'm just curious. I don't know if it's possible.
I personally haven't, but I also don't know where to find those connections. And that's where it just kind of comes into play. It's like most of these things are developed through personal relationships, and I haven't made those personal relationships.
I think it'd take a strong team to want to
Yeah.
go and say, we're going to do aerial, team building. They'd probably freak out. And then just locally, I know you're interested in the river. Have you approached some of the local lakes around, whether it's like a Weatherby Lake up north in Parkville and like that, as opportunities?
No, not for the lakes closer to Kansas City. Branson is the closest lake, so that's a 4-hour drive for me each week to get there. But I'm most intrigued by the river and just the flow and the connection that it creates to other cities.
Question over here.
Hi, have you developed a lot of video about what you've done? Is there a lot of footage that you could use?
We have quite a bit. I have quite a bit as well from me hanging from masts of sailboats and tall ships, even Richard Branson's boat. You can find all those on YouTube. We do often have hiccups with videographers. We were just mentioning earlier that we sometimes don't get some of our content once it's videoed. So we do kind of have to update and kind of keep tabs on that. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, it's just if we have things that are going wrong, it's usually lighting, sound, and
Yeah.
acquiring videos and photographs from photographers and videographers. It's it can be kind of a chore to get content back.
And on the note too of booking conferences, I've reached out to associations in the area and gotten response in regards to planning GUILDit board members, but just sending a media kit to people in HR associations or such in Kansas City may be a good way to let them know more about you and your experience already doing corporate events.
I have a few questions. One, Rachel, your church, where is that located? If I missed that detail, I apologize.
I'm over in Strawberry Hill, so just downtown on the Kansas side.
Okay, and then I work out in Blue Springs,
Mhm.
and at CrossFit Cerberus, have you installed some things there
No.
in the yoga room? Okay,
No.
somebody mentioned your name, so I was trying to figure out who it was because I need to coordinate and.
I was going to say, I was
Fire.
teaching briefly at a dance sport cheerleading studio in Blue Springs, but that was a very far drive for me, and it was children, and I don't have patience for teaching children, I've discovered.
So do you offer classes at your church and you have that information
Yes.
somewhere on your website?
Our website, yeah, we have classes in there about 6 days a week.
Okay.
We get classes all the time, which is why Nichole was mentioning it's hard to find company practice time because the studio itself is supporting itself with people coming through to, learn the craft.
Okay, thank you.
I think they even have a video of a newscaster
Yeah.
attempting
Yeah.
or succeeding at aerial.
She was
She did
succeeding.
great. Yes, that was a
I was
good.
ziplining
Where is
was
she?
in Cozumel, and I was amazed that they had me go with no hands and hanging upside down. So,
Hi there. I'm a transformational life coach, and I'm just wondering, like, so many women really want to like get in touch with their feminine, and it seems like you have like a really lovely sense about you of kind of helping individuals kind of get to their brave core or whatever. Have you thought about creating like retreats where you could put together a curriculum for women to come and maybe spend like 5 days with you and really kind of get into that place where a lot of us are afraid to go?
I think, yes, we definitely have done a lot of things and a lot of work here in town of smaller workshops, but we are trying to branch out more, and even within the islands I've tried to create some more retreats, and that is something I'm exploring for this winter of bringing Rachel, Jade, and myself on board one of the vessels and having the women actually take command of the vessel as well, learning that, doing yoga every morning, and you can also obviously do the aerial off the vessel and go have a lovely evening on the beach. So that's an option as well that I'm working towards and hoping to bring in. And I know we've got some other retreats coming up, maybe?
So this is where the transformation is happening. I've been doing this for 10 years in Kansas City, branching out a little bit nationally and now moving into the international communities and wanting to be the one who not just comes in as an invited instructor to somebody else's retreat or experience, but so that we can start building it ourselves. Last February, our other partner, Jade, who's actually in Jamaica right now, we took 2 groups of people through 2 retreats in Cuba. And that was amazing and absolutely unexpected, mostly because it was Cuba and we didn't know what we'd be walking into when we got there. But it was our virgin trip into how do we create space for a group of people and keep this container whole and safe and guided for a week to 10 days at a time. So it's kind of where we're starting to explore and expand and where we are definitely focusing on next stages.
we have time for one more question. Yes, 2.
Paul?
Okay, right over here, Paul.
Is there a national affiliation for aerial dancers?
So do you have a national affiliation?
There isn't really one. I mean, there's a network. We all tend to meet each other in like Facebook groups. Like there is like the Aerial Specialty Acts Facebook group. There's a lot of us that do travel from city to city. There's a network of instructors so that you can look up if you're going to be traveling the country, connect with another studio for practice space or for teaching opportunities. I host a lot of traveling teachers. I've had Cirque du Soleil contact me about practicing at my space when they were in town. So we do find each other, but yeah, there isn't necessarily a governing body of aerialists out there.
And 2, have you ever worked with other organizations? And like you've mentioned Cirque du Soleil, have you partnered with some of the other aerial groups here in Kansas City or outside of Kansas City?
Actually, at this point, all of the other aerial studios that are instructor-based all started off as students of mine. So they've gone off and they've created their own studios and their own experiences of teaching and performing. So once they've kind of separated, we haven't had much contact. We have worked with a lot of other performers, musicians, videographers, visual artists. Like Hector was doing some live painting at a show of ours a couple of times. So we do like to work with a lot of artists that are not necessarily doing the same thing we're doing, so we can bring in more of an enriched experience, more of a fuller experience. Things that we don't provide, we invite other people to join us in doing.
Right, great. Now, for our last question that we ask, what can we here as a community do to help you further along?
Do you want to spearhead that one?
I honestly don't even know. I will spearhead it to say I'm open and I am receiving and I am questioning and I am curious.
I do have a question that kind of pertains to that. You mentioned media packets, and what would you guys think is the best format to receive that? Something tangible or something digital?
Yeah, I recently put together a packet with advice of someone in the film industry who's done both marketing for herself as an actress and producer as well as for her company. And yeah, she gave me the rundown of there's a couple templates out there too that I referred to, and then I had her edit it. So I can send you the packet and you can take a look. It includes video links as well as basic contact information, history, and some, testimonials and such.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.